Rage on that beat, going crazy.
Welcome back to FreeFall Garage. Today's project is not necessarily the most exciting one, but it is something that needs to be done. My mother's been complaining about this sagging fence that we have around our pool. It's a privacy fence, so it weighs quite a bit. And last summer, one fence post was sagging. This summer, it's now two, so it's definitely starting to become an issue. It's gonna eventually take down the whole fence. So I'm gonna start today by taking apart the fence. It's three sections. It's the two posts and then the one in the middle, section in the middle, and the two on the side. The project is gonna be a lot of work. I'm getting a late start in the day, so might not finish it today, but the goals for today's project is to take apart the fence. We're gonna remove the old fence posts. I bought new replacement fence posts in case these ones are rotted or eaten, anything like that. I also have 3 bags of 50 pounds of Quickcrete where you just add the water and then we'll set the fence post in there. Some things you'll learn through this is how to replace a sagging fence post so it doesn't destroy your fence in the future, how to mix Quickcrete and pour it, how to level the fence post, and then reassembly of a fence. So with all that being said, let's get to it. I'll meet y'all at the work site. So I'm going to show you some of the tools that I have to start out this project. Over here, I've got my drill for the construction screws I'm going to be using. I've got 2 different crowbars for pulling the fence apart, shovel, pickaxe, and my ladder, and a leveler over here. And let's get to taking this thing apart. Down there, I put a bracket on the other side last summer to hold it together as much as it could, and I have to now jump to the other side to take that off. These are what I was talking about. They're like super thin sheets of metal. We're gonna get back to taking this thing apart. I got the first post out, and it's definitely been eaten through and rotted. Let me show you. Down in there, got this whole colony living inside of it. There's a lot more earlier because they've all been running away. But yeah, this will be needing a new post. So let me give a recap of what just happened. I've taken apart the 2 sections where they were the worst. So I've laid out the top beam for all 3 there. These are the 2, whatever that's called, like trellis things. And then here's our 2 posts on the ground that were here. Now, that post is rotted. And this post, this side, rotted, along with the footer beam that was going across to connect it to the other side. You can see the remnants of some nests in there I showed earlier. Same on this side. Let's finish taking apart this last section that's here, and then I will go get my wood that I'll be using pressure treated 4x4s that I picked up from Home Depot. Now, time to start digging to see I can get deep enough to where I can pour some concrete and set this fence post properly. Well, you catch the gist of it. I'm gonna do the rest of that one and finish up the second one, and then I'll fill you in. Nearly an hour later, I finished digging both holes for the posts. This one went smoothly. As you can see, it's pretty deep, pretty wide for a fence post, I know. But when I stick my hand in there, it's about elbow deep. So I'm gonna say that's okay. The technique I used was just pickaxe the hell out of the old concrete. This one, I hit it with the pickaxe once, broke it into about like 6 different pieces, easy to pull out, dug down. Now this one I couldn't go as deep in. If you look in there, there's a PVC pipe. So we do have irrigation on this property, but the guy before us that built the house is a very interesting man, and a lot of things just don't make sense. So I believe that's his work. The irrigation system we put in, and we had like a professional do it, not just someone that was building the house themselves. I'm gonna go show that to my father, make sure he's okay with me putting the fence posts again right there. There's not really much I could do. We got the okay go to just put the post where its original location was. I'm about to move on with the process. I'll show you guys what I have now. I just pulled up the wheelbarrow with our Quikrete bags. As you can see over here, it has all the right directions on it, on how to mix it, you know, for the depth hole that you're working with and what size inch posts you have. Just, you know, tells you how many bags or pounds to use in order to properly do it. I brought over our new 4x4s, pressure treated. I have some of these scrap pieces from like various projects that I've done. So I'm gonna lay my new 4x4 in there, and then I'm gonna use these to basically wedge down around it to keep it sturdy once I find the perfect level. We put those extra pieces in, got it perfectly level. Now we're just filling it in the rest of it. That way, if you can hear me over all that scraping. So that one turned out pretty good. We're gonna move on and do it to the second one, and then we'll let it cure for a couple hours. So this is the first hole. We're gonna add a little bit more concrete to both of them. There's a second one. And we're just checking right now to see how level we got it with the angles from the old posts. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. That's good. Looks like it's pretty solid. Let's finish putting a little bit more concrete in there, and then we'll let it cure for a couple hours and start figuring out how we're gonna assemble this. It got pretty late on us and we wrapped up the project a couple nights ago. It's now 36 hours later and we let that concrete cure for a good amount of time. So come over here, you can see it's pretty dang solid. Here's the other. And one thing that we should be checking is that it's still level. Now I did this a couple hours in to the curing process, and as you can see up top there, we're still pretty dang level on that side. On this side, pretty solid as well. Let's check the other post. This one, still solid. And this axis is still solid. Now that we know that they're still solid and straight up and down, we're gonna start taking apart the old fence. And what I mean by that is every so often there's some of these nails, and these are just gonna make it really hard for us to piece it back in there. So I'm gonna take those out with a hammer and my crowbar again, and then we'll just start piecing this thing back together. It should be really simple. So let's get to it. Now that all the old nails are out, we're gonna take down our supports, because this thing should be able to hold itself with the concrete that we poured. And then we're gonna put that thing in place and just start zipping it in with some screws. Okay.
Hey, are we backwards? No, we're right.
So that thing fits right in, pretty snug. You can see that's one of the joints. This one's a little off, but you know, this is where it was warped. So he's having to shove that in. Here's our next connection joint right there. Perfect gap all the way up and down. Now let's zip this in with some construction screws for now, because it is wanting to bend, and get the rest of the sections up. So looking at these tops, we have these little cosmetic pieces that hold up our like privacy guard area. And with these tops, how they sit on there is we have our base like footer 2x4, and then we have a header, and it sits on top of the post like that. So we are trying to figure out how we can possibly keep some extra inches on the top of this, probably not all of it, because we want to hang up some string lights reaching from the deck corner there all the way across the yard over to here, and creating like some sort of walkway lighting for this walkway here, because we don't have any lights on this side of the house. And so we're gonna just get to figuring that out. So I finished the project and I had to do some jumping around because the battery was getting low. What we did is we kept the tops, as you can see on there. We have some ideas of what we want to do with those. For now, it does look a little dumb, I know, but it's definitely gonna give us some freedom to do a future project that we were thinking of. That's a wrap on the project. It was honestly not too hard. It was my first time ever doing something like this. Well, that just sucked. The battery died on the setup, but moving to the iPhone, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this was my first time ever working on a project like this, and honestly, I'm happy with how it came out. Like, yeah. So overall, I would say I spent start to finish, not counting the drying, curing process of the concrete, 12 to 15 hours working on this. Got some help with my dad. It was definitely needed when we were assembling it back together, which I know it was a very long and tedious process, so I'm probably gonna end up cropping a lot of that video out or just speeding up really fast. But with this project coming to a wrap, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all found some of it useful, some of it entertaining. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to like, subscribe, and you can check me out at Instagram at thatguydavid. I'll put it down here, and thank you.